Hello, everyone. A very, very warm welcome to one and all. Once again, we are here on our UBI open mic. This 10 days have been a blast for all of us. I think this is the fifth day today, and we are celebrating our UBI open mic's second anniversary. And we will be completing our 100th episode on this Saturday. So all of you know that today we are meeting for something special. This is the first time we are doing this. कहानियां सुनी है आपने ओपन माइक में, स्टोरीज सुनी है, पोएम्स सुनी है, गाने भी सुने हैं, शायद स्टैंड अप कॉमेडियंस भी देखे हैं, मगर ये एक नया ट्विस्ट है ओपन माइक में जो कि आज पहली बार होने जा रहा है. वी आर गोइंग टू बी टॉकिंग अबाउट ट्रैवलॉग्स की पर बात होगी, सफर पे बात होगी. तो सफर के साथ शुरू करते हैं. मुझे निदा फाजली जी की 4 लाइनें याद आ रही हैं, उनके साथ शुरू करूंगी. पोएट हूँ, पोएट्री ही याद आती है, क्या करूं. सफर में धूप तो होगी, जो चल सको तो चलो. सफर में धूप तो होगी, जो चल सको तो चलो. सभी हैं भीड़ में, तुम भी निकल सको तो चलो. सभी हैं भीड़ में, तुम भी निकल सको तो चलो. किसी के वास्ते राहें कहाँ बदलती हैं, किसी के वास्ते राहें कहाँ बदलती हैं. तुम अपने आप को खुद ही बदल सको तो चलो. सफर में धूप तो होगी, जो चल सको तो चलो. तो आज बहुत सारे मुसाफिर हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं, और आप जो हमें देख रहे हो, अलग अलग देशों से, अलग अलग शहरों से, अलग अलग जगहों से देख रहे हो. तो यदि आप में से कोई चाहता है अपने शहर की बात करना, अपनी जगह की बात करना, तो जरूर जुड़िए और अगले सफरनामे पे आप हमारे साथ होइएगा. तो ये नई शुरुआत ओपन माइक पे इन 10 दिनों के बीच में की जा रही है, और भी कई तरह की नई शुरुआत लेके आ रहे हैं अगले कुछ दिनों में. जुड़े रहिए और तालियों के साथ जरूर स्वागत करिए मेरे सभी दोस्तों का जो आज हमारे साथ हैं. नीति मैम आज की हमारी होस्ट, हमारी दोस्त. आप में से कौन नहीं जानता है नीति मैम को. नीति पार्टी चावला जी, आज की होस्टिंग उनके हाथों में है. और तरिशी जुड़ी है, नंदिनी, ईशा, मीरा, सुनीता, सभी आज जुड़े हैं अपने अपने रास्तों की बातें लेके और बहुत सारी दिलचस्प कहानियां लेके ट्रैवल की. लेट्स कम टुगेदर एंड एंजॉय दिस शो. दीदी मैम, ओवर टू यू.
थैंक यू सो मच, धन्यवाद. और आपको बहुत मुबारक. आप फाउंडर हैं यूपीआई की, और हम आपसे कब से जुड़े हुए हैं. बहुत ही बेहतर ये सफर रहा. श्याम सुंदर जी, आपको भी मुबारक. पूरी यूबीआई फैमिली को मुबारक इस ओकेजन पर, जबकि आप सेकेंड एनिवर्सरी मना रही है यूबीआई ओपन माइक की, जिससे भी मैं जुड़ी हुई हूँ. एंड इट इज अ काउंटडाउन टू द 100th एपिसोड एंड अ वेरी यूनिक वन. इट्स टाइटल सफरनामा. और आपने कितनी अच्छी शुरुआत करी है एक कुछ लाइनें पढ़ करके, और मुझे ऐसे ही मेरे मन में कुछ आ गया है, कह दूं. माफ कीजिएगा अगर थोड़ा अभी अभी आया है मन में.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल नीति मैम, कम ऑन. अभी तो सेलिब्रेशन टाइम चल रहा है, तो सेलिब्रेशन में मन की बातें नहीं करेंगे तो क्या करेंगे.
तो क्षितिज छूने की तमन्ना थी, देखना था आसमान और धरती कहाँ मिलते हैं और कहाँ उनका प्यार बढ़ता है. तो यूं ही निकल पड़े घर से कई रोज, राह से राह मिली, नई राहें मिल गई, हम चलते गए, सफर बनता गया. अभी जो
ही चला था जानिबे मंजिल, मगर लोग साथ चलते गए, कारवां
बनता गया.
और ये कारवां देखो 100वें एपिसोड तक पहुंच गया है. कहाँ शायद हमने शुरू किया और
हम
आप सब
आपके
लोगों के
साथ हम सफर
साथ
रहे.
बहुत.
और अच्छा, आप मुझे बताइए शिवानी जी, ये भी तो सफर है. आपने यूबीआई का शुरू किया होगा, उस जर्नी के बारे में कुछ तो बताइए हमें, इससे पहले कि हम दुनिया के कोने कोनों में ले जाएं लोगों को.
वाह वल्लाह, क्या कहानी है ये, और क्या जर्नी रही. बहुत सुंदर रही, बहुत प्यारी रही, दिल के बहुत करीब है ये जर्नी मेरी. बिकॉज इन 5 सालों में, 5 साल हो गए हैं यूबीआई को. February 2 2018 में इसकी शुरुआत हुई थी. इसका जो बीज बोया था, इसकी जो स्टोरी अगर मैं आपको कहानी सुनाऊं अगर, तो जो बीज इसका बोया था वो वर्ल्ड बुक फेयर दिल्ली में, जब मैं अपनी बुक उसकी बूंदे लेके पहुंची थी. वहां हम कुछ राइटर्स साथ में जुड़े थे. ऐसा लगा कि बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे हैं जो लिख तो लेते हैं हम किताब, लेकिन उस किताब के बाद आने के बाद क्या करना है ये नहीं पता। फिर कुछ बच्चे मिले, कुछ हाउसवाइफ मिली, लिखती हैं, फिर उस लिखने का क्या करना है ये नहीं पता। वहां से एक बीज बोया गया, मेरे हस्बैंड ने बोला कि क्यों ना तुम यू आई एम अ पीपल्स पर्सन, so started this group. It started off as a group, it went on to Facebook group, and then finally it is now flourishing. You have seen it, how it's grown from that small little baby. Now we have UBI LLP, which Neeti ma'am is more or less the head of UBI LLP, and she is the one who created it. We have contests running. We have n number of contests, like weekly और आपके fortnightly contests तो चलते ही हैं Facebook group पे। बाकी हमने इंस्टाग्राम धीरे से शुरू किया, लोगों को प्रमोट करना शुरू किया। Basically, the concept was to bring in people together, grow together, help each other to grow together. So there were like various ways we were doing it. Book translators मिले, हम book translate कर सकते हैं, हमें काम चाहिए, वहां उन्हें जोड़ा। इसी तरह से धीरे धीरे 2-4 लोग और साथ में आते गए, टीम बढ़ती गई। श्याम सर ने आके बात करी, ओपन माइक की, ओपन माइक शुरू हुआ, छोटी छोटी चीजें करते रहे। इंक मैराथन है, फिर और क्या क्या करते हैं हम, मुझे रटा हुआ तो नहीं है बहुत अभी एकदम से, मैं क्या 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 कहानी सुनाती बैठूं अपने यूबीआई की। बट हाँ, कुछ एक इसके जो पायदान मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगी। जैसा मैंने कहा 2018 में शुरुआत हुई। जब शुरुआत हुई तो हम फेसबुक ग्रुप पे थे। उसके एक साल के बाद हमने वेबसाइट शुरू की, जहाँ पे वी आर अलाउइंग ब्लॉगर्स टू कम इन। यू कैन ब्लॉग and you can, it's a free of course site, website. You can come there, you can share your work, you can create your profile. There are n number of other groups which have recently started to nurture all the other passionate souls, which are like food lovers, which are, if in case you are a food lover, you can share your work on, curate your recipe, you can share there, you can share your passion for food there. There are spiritual souls who are connected through spiritual souls group. Then there are other groups like music and dance lovers and all. आप जाएंगे तो UBI पे आपको सब दिख जाएगा। बट हाँ, मेन जो उसका उद्देश्य था वो यही था कि साथ आए, एक साथ आगे बढ़ें, एक दूसरे का हाथ पकड़ के आगे लेके जाएं। खुद अपने लिए तो हम सब करते रहते हैं, एक दूसरे का साथ देखें, एक दूसरे को आगे बढ़ाएं। That was the thought and that is the journey. एकता मैम आई, एकता मैम है हमारी कोऑर्डिनेटर हैं, शुचि मैम ने स्टूडेंट स्पेशल शुरू किया। सो यही बस लोग आते रहे और साथ चलते गए और साथ हमारा साथ बढ़ता गया। मलेशिया में हमने 2 बार ऑन ग्राउंड इवेंट्स किए सृजन संगम के नाम से। वी हैड अ लवली ऑडियंस देयर, wonderful welcome we got from all the people out there, Indians, non-Indians also. We recently did a very we call it a mega event because it was the first time we were on ground meeting people whom we had not met for last 4, like we have never met, and we were together for last 4 years, 5 years. So this journey came together, culminated into a small group, and then finally it was so big that we had more than 150 people on ground on 4th of June when I declared, I think 15 days before that date, we had declared the event, that we are going to be holding an event, and everybody flew in. There were people coming in from Delhi, there were like people coming from Bhopal, Kolkata. It was just a family. So this is more of a family and not a competitive stage. So be there, enjoy it. I think इससे ज़्यादा मैं UBI के बारे में और क्या कहूँ। जर्नी बहुत प्यारी थी। मैं बहुत बड़ी हूँ इस सब में, लोग इतना, I've really got enriched with so many beautiful souls around me. Support from everybody, any age group. We had internship programs, wherein we still have internship programs for students, where we train them to do all the social media and creatives and stuff like that. They help us create programs and projects. So yeah, छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं, छोटे छोटे पायदान चलते जा रहे हैं। आप लोगों की निगरानी में रहे तो और अच्छा कुछ कर ही लेंगे सब बड़े लोग, और जो छोटों से भी सीखते हैं। जैसे इंटर्नशिप की बात करी जाए तो मेरी बेटी ने इंटर्नशिप प्रोग्राम शुरू कराया उसके फ्रेंड्स के साथ कि वी नीड इंटर्नशिप्स एंड दिस इज कोविड पीरियड गोइंग ऑन। सो वी हैव एवरी एज ग्रुप and every type of interest. If you have, we have a forum. If we don't have it, suggest us, we are there for you all. Let's come in together and do something which is going to help people. Over to you, Neeti ma'am. I think I've already taken a lot of time.
No, it's been a pleasure to listen to you, and may your lot grow and may you continue to see success. हम साथ जुड़े हैं, जुड़े रहेंगे. तो शुरुआत करते हैं. मैं कोशिश करती हूँ एक अगर हो जाए successful. I had made a short video, and if it will play on share, I'll just do it. Otherwise, let me know. Is it there visible? Is it visible? Is it visible? We keep it for another time. I think let's get the show on the road. And the first person I'm going to invite is Tarishi, and she's written a very short introduction for herself, and I shall share it with you. She's a writer, a reader, and a yoga instructor. She can be found at home in Noida when she isn't traveling the seas with her family. That is most interesting, Tarishi, traveling the seas. Most of us, when we look at travel, we look at, land travel, or it's a cruise, which is a special time for us. But you do it all the time. So over to you. Let's know.
Thank you. And thank you, Neeti ma'am. Thank you, Sapna ma'am. And congratulations for the journey, the Safarnama that UBI has come with. Also, I love the name Safarnama, because what I write about here is an actual Safarnama. There is no destination here. The ship that we go to, it just travels all over the world. Or when I was a little girl, I had a favorite quote. It said, "I've not been everywhere, but it's on my list." So also I have a favorite word, which is Fernweh. Fernweh is a German word, which means that there is a deep longing to be far away from home. There's no destination as such, just to be away. And this was a dream of mine. Sometimes dreams come true, and I did travel, and how? Because fast forward to age 28, I got married to a merchant navy officer who wanted to take his wife along on board, and I was ecstatic. Gave up my job in a jiffy, and then I still remember the first time I saw a ship. The ship is like, it's huge. And I felt like a small speck, like, looking at the ship, the ocean, it was just so big. And I do realize now as well that there are times in our life when we get to know who we are. The answer for me is miniature. Our problems, our ambitions, our dreams, our hopes, it's all in the grand scheme of things. It's just so small, minuscule. And that is not disheartening for me. It's empowering. It's liberating. So as I moved on board, I realized that the ship moves. It's always, because it's on water, it's always moving. So the motion is to and fro. It's like rolling. And then there's pitching, which is up and down. So the up and down motion is like a seesaw. Now imagine being on a seesaw for days, months on end. The average contract of a merchant navy officer is 9 months. 9 months of continuously rolling and pitching. And when the seas get rough, it gets intense. So they are working in that environment all day, every day throughout the year. Everything that we have in our homes, from even the grains to our gadgets, from our crockery to our cars, everything is important. And these people work in these conditions all the time to deliver us. So these sailors were amazing. And I couldn't find my sea legs. There was nausea. The food didn't want to stay in the stomach. It wanted to get out. The nerves in my head also wanted to get out. It was bursting all the time. So it took me a while to get adapted to the sea. And roughly, to tell you the size, it's about 3 football fields, one after the other. So that is the size of a ship. You can literally play cricket on a couple of containers. Have you seen those containers going on trucks, those huge 20 by 40 containers? There can be 24,000 of them on a ship. So that is like the size of a ship. It was mind-boggling. And but the kind of rolling and pitching that was happening at that time, because it was winters, Atlantic winters. I once, the cupboard that I kept my turmeric in, I did not lock the cupboard. And whilst it was rolling and pitching, the container, which hadn't been secured properly, fell to the ground. The turmeric was all over the carpet. It took me as long to get the stains out as it took for my husband to stop chastising me. So that everywhere it's carpet, iron and steel. So you cannot move literally without a carpet. It is a different experience. By the time I'd found my sea legs, we were going to Canada. Canada is not cold in the winters. It's like freezing. It's icy, minus 20 degrees. And in the ocean, there are ice formations like icebergs, and we were on an ice class vessel. So as the ship moves, it has to break the ice and move. I would look from the portholes, from the windows. I'd go to the bridge and look from the glass. Out on the deck is another story. Out on the deck, that 20-knot wind at minus 20 degrees, it pierces right to your bone. I went there, but it was like no amount of clothes can keep you warm in those winters. Nothing can protect you. But the ocean, the ice, it shimmers and sparkles. It's like diamonds strewn on like a sparkling blue bed sheet or something. The sun rays hit the water and then they refract. And you can see the refraction happening in real time. Like 15 years, 6 continents later, I haven't seen a more beautiful sight. It is that glorious. And you see animals, I once saw dolphins. There were like 100 dolphins. They compete with the ship, they race happily, right in the natural habitat. And it seems so happy. You could just look at them and keep looking at them. And they're intelligent. They don't collide with the vessel ever. The whales are another story. You have to look out for them. I've seen whales play as well. So we were on the constant lookout for the whales. We had to avoid them so that there is no injury happening to them. Then there were seagulls. When the land is near, you see the seagulls. They come, they swoop down, take the fish right out of the water. We can't see the fish, they can. And then they fly with the fish in their mouth or gobble them up right there. And it's like straight out of a National Geographic channel. And you could see islands, small islands, and, blocks of ice where the walruses were there, the sea dogs, the seals. They would be playing with their young ones and they would be nurturing them, feeding them. And you cannot see it elsewhere at all. You just stand there mesmerized at nature's beauty. And then we went to Niagara Falls. Another thing is there that when you are in such cold environments, because it is like minus 20 temperature, the falls was falling, there was water in it. But as soon as the spray comes, it freezes midair. And because this spray is frozen midair, it goes to like the street lights and the lamppost there, it would just hang on to it and freeze in seconds and become ice. So all the lampposts, and they're like blocks of ice. And I was like, how did this happen? And then realized that it was a spray coming, which would reach and solidify midair. And once there was this beer. There was an officer who came on board and told us there was a beer on the ship. And we were like, he must be hallucinating. And the next day, this beer was on top of the containers for everybody to see. And now we were all scared because you didn't want to go work on a deck whilst the beer was there. You also didn't want the beer to die. So people would go in 2s and 3s and leave food for the beer. The food would get eaten. And when we came to the next port, we told the authorities and the beer was taken away. And then work could finally happen again. So on this ship, we were doing the Trans-Pacific run. We never realized.
That's wonderful. We've seen, through your eyes and your words, images galore, images of all kinds. And I'm sure it's an interesting journey that you're continuing with, and it'll encourage a lot of people to go in for the Merchant Navy officers. God bless them for what they do for us. And so I'd just like to ask you one short question, and then we move to the next person. You said, the journey on the seas empowered you as well. You said in between, and I would just like to know how it did that to you.
Normally we are scared of being solo. We are scared of being alone. When you realize how, and also we think of our problems as huge. We don't know how to tackle them. But when you realize how little you are, how small you are, and how blessed you are in this world of amazing captivate, the sunsets, the sunrise, you bow to the beauty of nature. You understand how to let go.
Well said. Well said. And we will move, before moving on, tell all the viewers, the oceans are filling up with plastic. I can't help it. I am a green person. I'm a very strong environmentalist. Please contain the amount of plastic you use and be very careful with how you handle your products. We move on. Thank you, Tarishi. It was absolutely delightful. To Sunita. Sunita is a graduate in mass communication. She started her career as a print journalist and later switched to digital media. She was one of the core and active members of the social media team, Prasar Bharati. Right now, she's working as a freelance writer, runs a branch of Mumbai-based NGO, Angel Express Foundation in Noida, is a full-time mom, loves traveling, enjoys her holidays with her two beautiful girls and husband. Over to you, Sunita.
Thank you so much, Niti ma'am, and many congratulations to Safarnama and Sapna ji for this. As Tarishi aptly said, its life is a safar, and Jindagi ek safar hai suhana. With this, I love to start. In fact, the place that I'm going to talk about is Francobar, and it's also called Tharangambadi. It's the name says it means singing waves. And मैं वहाँ पे तब गई थी जब I was going through a very bad phase of my life. My father was not well, और मेरे husband ने कहा था कि चलो कहीं घूमने, just to take a break from this. And the waves, the singing waves really cooled down and calmed my nerves and everything. It's beautiful. It's a small village, and with the highest ozone layer, which really refreshes you and rejuvenates you for your life and city. It's small, and there is this place was founded by, like, it was a Danish colony essentially. I'll share, and it's not very far from Pondicherry. I'll just tell you how to reach the place, and it's only for those people who love calmness and wants to stay away from the city, take a break from the city life actually. So there I go. I'll say, I don't know if you are able to see. Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, yes. Very
so
clearly.
Tharangambadi, this is Tharangambadi with the Danish fort that is in the background. It's called Fort Dansburg. और ये this is the beauty of this place. ये एकदम overlooking the sea है, Bay of Bengal के edge पे है, and it has a museum. And when we went in 2016 January. We spent our New Year's over there, and तभी under renovation था, but it is I think it's back and it's renovated and people are visiting, and it's beautiful. So it's not very far from Pondicherry, just 3 hours drive, and Chennai से भी 6 घंटे की दूरी पर है. You can always drive down to this place and take a break at Mahabalipuram and just stay there, or maybe just drive down straight, because Mahabalipuram is again a beautiful place where you can go and see. So these are the places where you can go and stay. This Nimrana ka hai. There's bungalow by the beach, which is really beautiful, overlooking the sea. And during tsunami, ये बहुत बुरी तरह से affected हुआ था, and we lost 700 lives over there. But they came back again, and again there is life and people are enjoying. And हम लोगों ने वहाँ पे छोटा सा एक क्योंकि एक दिन ही रुके थे वहाँ पे, just for we reached there on 30th evening, we stayed there on 31st and we left on 1st January. So 31st night हम लोग वहाँ थे, and वहाँ का sunset enjoy किया. Unfortunately, I don't have that photograph with me. I would have shared that beautiful sunset. हम लोग वहाँ पे, and there one thing which I realized, language is never a barrier. You know, I couldn't speak Tamil, and these fishermen, I wanted to go in the sea and feel the tides. And fishermen were not allowing us to go, but we wanted to go. My kids were really small at that time, and they also wanted to enjoy the sea and feel how kaise machli pakadte hain. The net was there. So हम लोगों ने action से उन्हें समझाया कि how we want to be there with you and we want to go in. And they took us. They actually understood what we are trying to say. And they took us. They also said, see, we can't take you very far because sea is turbulent today. So we can't take you very far. But yes, you can experience it. We did that. And it was a beautiful experience, trust me. And और वहाँ खाने का भी ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. You just have the properties which you provide you food. If you love drinking, then we don't have that properties. All the hotels, they provide you with alcohol, but you can't go there. It's like you can't carry your booze or anything. It's prohibited. So Tranquebar is all about history and how Danish came and why they came. In fact, it is said they came there for spices, which they wanted to take to Europe for protecting their meat, because spices wo cover karte the and it could go through the winter. This is what they wanted to do, and this was the reason why they had come to Coromandel Beach. So all the way from Europe, isliye aaye, and first Denmark East India Company was set up there in 1620, way back in 1620, and they stayed there till 1824. For that long they were there, taking spices and enjoying the sea over the calmness of the sea. In fact, printing press bhi unhone wahan pe lagaya because to convert Bible into Tamil so that the Tamilians could understand. So all that history is there, and it's a place. You can stay there for a day or two and enjoy the place. Wahan se you can go to Chidambaram, you can always go back to Pondicherry, and this is a short break. It's a one day break where you don't have to do anything and just enjoy life. So this is it. These are the few places. This is me overlooking the sea from the fort. This is, I hope you all can see. This is the fort, and I was just sitting on the edge of one of the walls of the fort, and I was looking the sea. And why I brought this picture, because I felt that there is so much calmness in the sea. And as Tarishi well said, that wahan pe jaake you feel empowered. You see ki yahan kuch nahi ho sakta, and then you know how to live life. So that is what even I felt. So there's church, there is a museum, maritime museum, where you have got all those shells and everything. You can visit there. There's this post office, which is supposed to be 100 years old post office. In fact, हम लोगों ने एक letter भी डाला to the girls wanted to send a letter to their grandparents in Noida, which never reached. That's another thing. But that's it, and that is all about Tharangambadi. And one thing, it has got highest ozone layer, which is quite refreshing. And even when the sun is high, you won't feel the rays of the sun, and your skin won't get burnt. That's the beauty of the place. So you can bathe in the sun and enjoy the beach. That's from me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sunita. That was so wonderful. And I think the great takeaway here, was when you said that language was not a barrier.
Yes.
And that is such a wonderful thing to say, because we are living in, just like the sea, sometimes times are turbulent. It's a part of life, happens, But that language, it should never become a barrier, that we can all understand each other. We are human, same emotions. And I like the portion about the letter. Everything is on social media now, and the letter writing is completely passé, so to speak.
Oh, that's one thing. You can't access your network over there, so you are without your net. That's a good break for the girls, for everyone who are completely dependent on social media. And
ask me
I guess
about letter
holidays
writing.
should be like that, Neeti ma'am. No network, nothing. Be there, enjoy the peace, and soak into that moment and take it ahead with you.
Yes.
Get refreshed, energized, and get back to work after you're back home.
Yes, indeed.
Yes,
And we are energized too. So we move on now to Meera. Meera, Meera Prashant is a wanderer, a dreamer, a storyteller, a mother of two, an ex-banker turned NGO worker, a book lover and a humanist. She tries but doesn't cook too well. She loves to dance and drink coffee, but mostly separately. Her greatest compliment is being called a kind person. The mountains are her calling, and today's stories are not about how she found the mountains, but how the mountains found her. So beautiful. All yours, Meera, come on. So we've done the sea, then we are back. We are on the mountain tops now.
So first, let me wish you all a very good evening and a warm welcome. A huge thank you, Terima Kasih Banyak, to my friend and inspiration, Sapna. It's just beautiful watching her juggle all her life roles with just consummate ease and a smile on her face. She's truly a Karma Yogi. And congratulations to Team UBI for 100 on the UBI open mic. It's a big number. And our cricket crazy country especially loves this number. Wishing you many, many centuries ahead, and may your platform empower many more hundreds of speakers to come share their stories and thoughts. On that high note, let me take a moment to just reintroduce myself. I'm Meera Prashant, and today I'm going to share a little bit on why I love treks. And it's kind of interesting where I've been juxtaposed in this conversation, because I grew up just 20 kilometers away from Mahabalipuram on that very sea that our previous speaker was talking about.
Awesome.
Growing up by the sea at the Bay of Bengal, I went to Kendriya Vidyalaya, government school. And I grew up singing several patriotic songs. And there was this one song, Sare Jahan Se Acha, which has Parvat Jo Sabse Uncha, Hamsaya Asman Ka. Wo Santari Hamara, Wo Pasma Hamara Hamara. Always left this thought in my head, what is this mountain? And then later on, there's this English text that comes up in CBSE in 10th or 11th, where it's a story about George Mallory, one of the first to climb Mount Everest. And in that text, he was asked, it's a story of his life, and somebody writes about him saying, he was asked, why do you climb Mount Everest? And he says, because it is there.
Yes.
This had a really profound impact on my mind. It was a thought that never left my head. But fast forward to 2015. Now I was in my mid-30s. And as anyone who has crossed that age knows, it is prime season for yes, that Western world affliction called midlife crisis. Some people divorce their spouses, some find yoga, some buy a Ferrari, some change their jobs. But I decided to climb a mountain. Somewhat foolishly, I decided with a week-long trek in the Himachal belt of that Santari of ours in the Manali area. For those who know, it's the Hamta Valley Dev Tibba Pass trek. And it was not an easy trek. And I'm just going to share some content while we go to the next part of the thing. Just hold on. Yeah. It's just in some random order, and I don't know why it's not sharing. Yes, there we go. So it was 6 nights of sleeping in a tent, huddled up in a claustrophobic sleeping bag, no phones, no TV, no electricity, no shower, no baths even. A toilet is just a hole in the ground, not many changes of clothes. It's cold, and repetitive long days where you just walk long walks. And these walks are walks where you can't afford to be unfocused because you might just fall off the mountains. Why would anyone do this? Why at all? Any person who has ever trekked a mountain always comes back to the comfort of their urban life and says, oh gosh, never again. But 6 weeks later, they talk with the glazed look of a drug addict. Oh my God, I dream of the mountains. When do I go again? Why this feeling? It's like a mute person describing the taste of sugar. You just can't explain it. You just got to experience it. But what trekking does is that it actually simplifies life. Life becomes absolutely minimal because we practice just living out of a bag. The helpfulness of the people with you is so heartwarming, all caring for each other's safety and happiness. The incredible work ethic of the porters is amazing. They lug the equivalent of a filled gas cylinder or two up and down the mountains as if it is nothing. And it is mind-blowing because they do it with a smile. Life breaks down into just breath and step, just these two. Step, breathe. Step, breathe. Step, breathe. Step, breathe. Even saying this repeatedly is so calming. Imagine living it. Once I returned from this Hamta Valley trek, I became powerfully hooked to the idea of trekking. It translated into my prioritizing my treks over everything. I used to work out several ways in which I could go on these treks, call all kinds of favors, get my mom-in-law to come and look after my family. And I empowered my family also to function without me for a few days as I left them behind to go on my treks. So the next few treks I undertook, some of them are like very classically popular big treks, like the Everest Base Camp trek. It's a separate story, 1 hour session by itself. I'm not going into it. Or going to Tanzania to summit the Kilimanjaro. But also all the other smaller, beautiful treks that I did, not just in the Himalayas, but also in areas around Mumbai where I live, were equally gratifying and soul satisfying. Some of the pluses of trekking is that you get to detox from the 200 plus good morning messages that we get on WhatsApp. That was a big relief. We don't need to answer the phone call of that one annoying, unmarried, single co-worker who only wants to call after 9:30 when you're sitting down with your family or husband. There are no wardrobe choices to make. And trust me, just that one thing is good enough to go on a trek. Training for the trek makes us definitely fitter, but the post-trek true silence in one's heart is the Bhagavad Gita equivalent of experiencing the force. And that is just absolutely amazing. It has to be experienced. And then, now here is the real secret. It is true. Yes, what I'm saying is true. On a trek, Maggie does taste so much better. Trust me. I celebrated my 30th birthday a few years ago, not now, my hair is much grayer, at the foot of the mighty Everest. And on my birthday, I had 30 strangers, 30 complete strangers. I didn't know them before the trek began. And these are not people who just trekked with me, but the people who were in the same tea house where we were resting. All of them sang happy birthday to me in 3 different languages. Our crew of porters sang and danced to this popular trekking song in Nepali called Resham Firiri. And we all drank the very strong kukri rum, which we wouldn't do on ground level to celebrate. Even when I think back, the gratitude just fills my heart that so many strangers would pause to usher in my special day with so much love, just from their heart. And I believe that the message I received from the universe that day was to carry it forward and celebrate the success of the next person and not carry any negativity in my heart. Trekking, of course, comes with its hair-raising stories of being stuck in blizzards, of being stung by insects, of walking in squelching in rain for hours and hours in the wrong direction, of walking 14 hours to reach the destination. But oh, the feeling of accomplishment when you rest your feet in that claustrophobic sleeping bag is just mind-blowing. And finally, the pristine beauty of nature. No matter how much we bike, drive, ski, row, fly over Mother Nature, there is nothing as special as being as close to her as it is on a trek. You walk with her, you walk in her. The mountains just literally hold you like a parent does. And when the mountain gods decide to show off their stunning beauty, life changes forever with the peace and joy one feels. I could just go on and on and on about my love for trekking, but I hope that whatever I said inspires and at least generates a little bit of interest in exploring maybe a day-long hike, if nothing else. May the force be with you. And to quote George Mallory once more, very eloquently he puts it, if you cannot understand that there is something in man which responds to the challenge of this mountain and goes out to meet it, that the struggle is a struggle of life itself, upward and forever upward, then you won't see why we go. What we get from this adventure is just sheer joy. And joy, after all, is the end of life and the meaning of life. Thank you.
Beautifully articulated and shared with us, Meera. Absolutely amazing. I particularly liked in the beginning when you said talked about the midlife crisis, and so there is no need for anybody to get into or wallow into self-pity and say, "Oh my, me," and all that. But find an outlet, especially now that there are so many people suffering from concerns, let's say, for the want of other more strong word. And so you need to develop something, find that little happy place where your soul is happy, and then and go with it, because you deserve it. You're as much deserving of happiness as the next person is. So get out of that zone and do it. And another thing that I really loved when you were speaking was, you see, kindness or love, you cannot return back. You can only perpetuate. So let's just go ahead and do all of that, and let's share some more love and beautiful stories. And we are looking at Nandini now. Nandini.
Amazing, amazing.
Nandini Bihari Sagar is a traveler, writer, researcher, dancer, music lover, singer, compere. She's done a short stint with oil industry in the management cadre, keen proponent of financial education planning for youth, now loves to stay connected with family and friends. Nandini, come on. What is this short stint about oil? Just a little question before you begin your journey, so to speak.
Well, I've just graduated and always wanted to work in an oil industry. And so I got a job with the Indian Oil, and they posted me. They asked me if I wanted to go. I wanted to work in the refinery. And I was posted to Digboy in the upper Assam area, which is the smallest still running and the oldest running refinery. And I opted to work in the industrial relations and department. This is the most exhilarating time of my life.
Absolutely. What an adventure then.
Yes.
I've been to Digboy and I know how beautiful it is, but how challenging. And then must have been more so.
It was very challenging, very satisfying, very exciting.
Wonderful. You inspire all the young ones. Go ahead, everybody, explore this world. Find youth to do short life.
Yes, one life to live.
Yes. So over to you and your adventure.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sapna and Neeti, for having me. And congratulations on your 100th episode. A hearty congratulations to all of you at UBI. I'm going to talk about Vietnam. We landed in Hanoi on a lovely February morning. Our hotel was across the Hue Quien Lake, or the Sword Lake, which has great historic significance. We started our tour with a visit to Ba Dinh Square and saw the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum, the parliament across it, and the imperial palace. Behind it was the unique one-pillar pagoda. And next to it were some Buddhist temples. This was set in a beautiful big compound, and this was guarded by really cute-looking military personnel. But they wouldn't allow us to take photographs. After that, we went to the Temple of Literature, which was built around 1070 AD and was the first national university of Vietnam. There also you saw the hierarchy of royalty, gate for the royalty, the administration, the military. This temple was dedicated to Confucius, the great Chinese philosopher and teacher. And we saw a bunch of youngsters and newly graduated teachers who come to get blessed by him, which is a very sweet tradition, I thought. The next day, we took a 2-hour drive to Ninh Binh and visited the Hua Lu, which is a former 10th century capital of Vietnam. There, as we entered, there was a huge mural painting depicting the convoluted, very complex history over the centuries. I completely zoned out, didn't follow a word of that. किसने किसको मारा, किसने उसको overthrow किया, किसकी बीवी किसके साथ भाग गई, all that. After a lavish, beyond that, yes, there were the tomb of the kings and some temple complex, which were very unique in their architecture, very different from what we'd seen so far. And after that, we went for a lavish Vietnamese lunch, and then took the sampan trip along the Trang An through limestone mountains and valleys and cave complex. This was a mesmerizing experience. Surprisingly, all the boats were rowed by women farmers. And they were in uniform and wore those conical Vietnamese caps. Very interesting. The following day was the trip to Halong Bay, our overnight cruise. Tarishi, please take note. This was my first cruise ever, and only an overnight cruise, and I was so excited. There were over 3,000 limestone mountains rising out of beautiful, majestically over the turquoise bay. The color of the water was to see. There were caves to be excavated and the caves to be explored, which we naturally gave a miss to. The captain announced those with heart and knee conditions would take note. We just sat on the deck and enjoyed the tranquil, peaceful view. We then moved to Da Nang and Hoi An. This was a really happening place with the Chinese, Japanese, Vietnam fusion in architecture and way of life. It's a shopper's paradise. You saw a lot of French influence here. You saw the traders selling their ware. The streets were decorated beautifully. There were Chinese traders and tailors who would make suits for you, shoes for you in 24 hours. The men were tempted, but we dragged them away. This place has a slight French influence here. It's scattered with cafes and patisseries with magnificent looking pastries and stuff on display. There are rickshaws, rickshaw rides, and the older generation was speaking in French. So after that, we saw tremendous French influence over here. Our last stop was Hue. Which was a 2-hour drive. And it's famous, Hue is again famous for the citadel and the Forbidden City. It has the famous Khai Dien tomb, a blend of the East and the West, and was the administrative and political center along the Perfume River. The names of the rivers were really interesting. Perfume River, Charming River. This was the last vantage point of the Nguyen dynasty that ruled Vietnam in the 1800s and the 1900s before the French came in. The visit to the oldest pagoda along charming river is definitely a must. It's called Tien Hu. Exquisite architecture here. But the one thing I'd like to really talk about is the food. The food is amazing. The po, there's soup you can see bubbling in cauldrons everywhere along the promenade and in wherever you stay. It's actually a breakfast dish, but it's available all through the day. You can have it with many condiments, tofu too in some places, but mostly pork and chicken and fish. Delicious stuff. And the rice paper wraps with the mint and coriander and lots of salad, lots of roughage and meats of your choice with dips is delicious. We didn't need any of the medication we had taken by bagfuls. And the banh mai, which, distinctly a French flavor made with the small baguettes, it's so delicious. The food is to die for. Absolutely delicious. I love my trip to Vietnam, and I'm all gearing up to go again.
Wonderful. That was a delicious, literally. Delicious story to tell. I have a very short question, Nandini. We all know Vietnam has had a very tumultuous past. They've been through a whole lot, and I've often wondered, and you've probably seen it close up. How are the people? How are they in their behavior? Are they friendly, forthcoming, or are they withdrawn? And do you see signs of concern? I mean, what are the people like?
It's a communist country, but on a open market economy, which is really doing very well. The younger lot is very fashionable and a very happy lot, and but surprisingly, there's no animosity towards the Americans. The 20-year war that they devastated the place. Yeah. And one thing I didn't know was that Hinduism had reached Vietnam, and the Americans had bombed that place. We didn't go there because we were going to Cambodia after that. There are Vishnu temples and Shiv temples which are in disrepair.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nandini, so much. And Isha has been waiting very patiently, and we want to hear your story. Come on, Isha, let me introduce you first. Happy Outdoor Mama, aka Isha, is an outdoor enthusiast, solo traveler, trip organizer, focusing on empowering women through her adventures. Despite being a mom to a 3-year-old, she skillfully involves them in her outdoor activities and plans trips, family-friendly trips. Alongside her passion for exploration, Isha dedicates her time to volunteering for a non-profit organization contributing to meaningful causes. And as an active member of HAM @Hiking Adventures, she plays a pivotal role in organizing trips for the group. And her unwavering dedication, organizational skills, and love for the outdoors inspire others to follow their dreams while balancing family and personal interests. Over to you, Isha. What are you going to tell us today?
Hello, Niti ji. Thank you. And thank you, UBI. And thank you, Sapna ji, for giving me this opportunity today. So today, it's about my first solo adventure, how I started traveling and how it became my passion now. So today it's about a city which is vibrant. With this, initially, while I was looking for the places to travel, then I listed few countries. Then what came in my mind is that
I need to choose a place where it has history, culture, and bustling with different kind of experiences and everything. So then I penned down my last option to Bangkok, Thailand. So today it's all about my solo adventure in Bangkok, Thailand. So finally, I have decided now. I have to, like, I just got like 5 days, 4 nights. So, and then I plan my itinerary and all the interesting places I want to visit in Bangkok. So the moment I arrived at Suvarnabhumi airport, then the first things first. So I just got my local SIM and then booked my ride to the hostel. Initially, I thought of booking a hotel, but then I thought I need to experience something different, not like a hotel atmosphere. So I booked a hostel. The bunk beds, how we used to do in college days. So yeah. And then I got my ride from the airport, and then I was trying to be very brave, and I was actually nervous and excited at the same time. So I was acting and just putting up this face, brave and smiling to all the strangers who are smiling to me. And then I got my ride from the airport. So while I am going back, the driver, he is trying to overcharge me. Then quickly, I pretended like, I don't know, I don't understand English. So somehow that quick act, it helped me to come out of that situation. But the driver, he dropped me at a place, it's not near my hostel. Then luckily, with the new SIM card, I called my hostel and then they helped me out with the place. And then the moment I went there, I freshened up, and then I started with the plan. I was holding a book and everything. So I just thought to myself, the first place I'm going to visit today is the Grand Palace, which is in the heart of Bangkok. And then the moment I arrived there, it's completely crowded. I actually don't know why it's crowded, because when I did my research and everything, I know it will be crowded, but not very crowded. There are like thousands of people. And then I came to know that there's something happening special for the late king. So there are lots of people there. Then I am clueless. I don't know where to get the ticket, and the security is checking at the entrance. And then finally, luckily, I saw people holding sticks and the dolls to them. And then I was looking at everyone, and somehow I found a group guide who is speaking in English. And then in that crowd, they don't know who belongs to which group. So I simply followed that guide, English speaking guide, until the end. So it was 2 hours good tour with him. And when I was coming back, that's when they realized that she doesn't belong to our group. It was a very interesting experience. And then actually, I want to talk about this place, this Grand Palace. It's very interesting, actually. It got like buildings in it, museum, temple, and then government offices, everything at one place. It's so huge. It's so huge. And then it's so beautiful. And then the moment I came back to my place. It was already evening. It's on the day one, I tried to just go out and explore the Grand Palace. And then since I'm a South Indian, I love South Indian meals. So I had my dosa and tea nearby hostel, just trying to save some bucks. And then next day, it's just a nice day. It started with the hostel strangers. We just try to exchange few things. And then I went to Jim Thompson Silk House. So this Jim Thompson Silk House, today I decided, no, not like yesterday. I need to like get a guide. So I got a guide, and then it was really a very interesting and amazing experience, like how silk came to Thailand, from how they produce everything. I have seen all the process, how they make the silk and everything. So post that, I had a very hearty meal and I fell in love with Thailand food. I thought I'm a vegetarian, so I thought very hard to survive for the vegetarians. And then when I went and then I asked them about the food, they gave me so many options, like I was confused. And when I finished my meal, I called my parents and then my husband. I said, I think I'm in love with Thailand food. Every day I'm going to eat the papaya salad and the pad thai and all this, like the Thai curry. It's so good. And especially my favorite is the mango sticky rice. I know everyone must have heard about that.
Our mouth is watering now.
It's so delicious, the Thai food. And then post that, I want to explore more. So then I think I started with Wat Po. It's a reclining Buddha, sleeping Buddha. It's so huge. The moment I entered inside, I felt like, how did such big, huge Buddha squeezed inside this building? I don't know how they build it and all. And I saw this beautiful incarnation on his Buddha's feet. Different kind of Buddha characters are written there. What caught me was this 108. 108 is it's very important for Buddha. He enlightened with some 108 sutras. Sorry if I am wrong or something, but I came across that. I found it like very interesting. And then from then I came across this place through a stranger while we were discussing. Now in this while traveling, the good thing is like everyone is your friend. When you ask when you ask them about anything, the people there are very friendly, very helping nature. And then I went to this temple. It's called Temple of Dawn, Wat Arun. It's so beautiful. It's made of glass pieces. So when sun sets, those rays, it shines like it temple shines. It's so beautiful. And then after that, I took a hop off boat ride. It's just next to the temple. And then it's sunset time, and then like late evening, it's just getting to turn dark. It's so beautiful, the city landscapes, and that river got like a floating boats market and everything. So they are selling the local food, and there are lots of flowers there. It's just so beautiful. My evening, it was so beautiful. I could remember my day 2 of solo trip. Something kicked in, like, it's so beautiful. I fell in love with everything around. I think it's so beautiful. Like, I can't even express, like, when you travel solo, that's when you could experience all this. And then my travel continued on. And then I started visiting the markets, like shopping malls for shopping for everyone, friends and family. And then I went for this market. It's called Chatuchak Market. I think it's my happy place. It got everything there, like delicious food. I can go, like, every 1 hour, I will be stopping at one food stall and I'll be taking sticky rice or something like the mango, dried mango, which we used to get in India as well. Yeah. So, and also I remember my hands are full, but I am trying to eat. So that was my happy place. It's so amazing. So overall, what I would like to say is, it's a different experience when you travel solo. You will reconnect to your inner self. You will discover more. And when you meet strangers, that's when you realize, actually, I felt for myself, like, it's like unleashing my strengths. I never knew that I could go solo and then go to a place where I don't know language, anything, but I survived. Like, I felt like I can survive anywhere after that solo trip.
Wonderfully said, Isha. I think, like you rightly said, when you are on your own, you discover the, yourself in a way where you have never known before. Your strengths, your weaknesses, where you need to work. But one thing is for sure, I think research is very important whenever you venture out. And also established fact is we are all foodies. I think everybody
Indians,
has.
after all, we all are foodies, born foodies. And I guess Bangkok, Thailand, I mean, that particular.
But it's
sector
nice to have Bangkok
really has a lot of
associated with food
Yeah.
and beauty other than what it is known for. So it's been lovely hearing it. I think we are out of time. So I
Yeah,
shall come in later with my adventure. I'll just say that, I've been a traveler all my life. I was counting the number of homes places I've called home or houses I've called home. And my last count was 34. So I've been around quite a bit.
Oh, wow.
So another day, another time, we are out of time. But I did write
But
about.
I think, Neetiji, we would really like to listen to you. I mean, if you are okay with it.
I wasn't going to talk about my homes. I think I should write a book there. But I was going to talk about, okay, let's just make it very short and quick, about a very unusual place that I went to this summer. This is Kangra Valley. And like I said, research is so, so important. And I found this place very intriguing. The name is Bathu Ki Ladi. Bathu Ki Ladi. So, there's a small story attached to it, and let me share that with you. So after Mahabharat got over, the Pandavas ruled for about 36 years, and they were very happy, and so on. So, and then it's Lord Krishna departed from earth. And the Pandavas felt that, Kali Yuga was about to begin, and they decided it was time to give up this world and find their eternal place in heaven. And for this, they decided to build a stairway to heaven. And they tried first to build, at the monolithic Masroor rock temples, which are opposite Lake Maharana Pratap Sagar in the Kangra Valley. But Indra intervened and they couldn't complete that. However, they were successful in building a stairway at Bathu Ki Ladi. So Bathu Ki Ladi, is a string. So it's a string of temples, 8 of them, surrounded by a pillar, which has within it a built-in ladder, which is the stairway to heaven. And what is so wonderful about this place? Let me also explain what Bathu stands for. Since Ladi is string of temples, Bathu is the stone that has been used to build these temples, and they are very old and surviving till now. And what is to be noted over here is that these temples, when I visited them by boat, because they were built in the vicinity of River Byas. And in 1970, the temples got submerged in Maharana Pratap Sagar, a reservoir that has been created by constructing Pong Dam across River Byas. And this construction of the reservoir, which is more than 1,400 feet, was started in 61. And so strong is Bathu stone that it has, these temples get submerged in the water and they are still standing strong. These temples, I went by boat. That's in May, June, before, when the water starts receding. When the rains come, the temples get completely submerged, and in the winter, you can drive up to them. So it's quite a place to visit, not very well known, not too many people, but very interesting, has a history, is linked to mythology, and by land, by boat, by, or sometimes just submerged temples there. So that's and maybe my 34 home story another day. It's been such a pleasure. समा बांध लिया जिसे कहा जाता है हमेशा के लिए, बहुत ही खूबसूरत, और सबका बहुत धन्यवाद आप सब, और सबकी जर्नी आज से हमेशा के लिए बहुत सुखद हो.
Thank you so much. It was really wonderful show, Neeti ma'am, and the choices of places and everything were really amazing. Each one of you was really amazing. And to be frank, on the sea, yes, I have not been too much. So this particular journey with Tarishi gives such a beautiful insight, as well as like, you were actually viewing yourself actually like running around with the dolphins, and this is so beautiful, so beautifully explained. Sunita's presentation, I must say, I have stayed in Pondicherry, so all my memories of Mahabalipuram and that particular side of India were refreshed. Meera, what to say? I've always been wanting to hear your stories. And finally, I get a chance to formally see and formally hear it. I've heard a lot, but this was a wonderful presentation. We look forward to hearing you more often and with more stories under your belt. I know so many places you've been to. All of you, I mean, wonderful. Nandini ma'am, frankly speaking, I'm really sorry. I couldn't do justice to all the pictures. I don't know what went wrong, and the pictures were not showing up. So sorry for that. But you won't believe, I'm trying to figure out and search pictures of Halong Bay because we've been there. When you were talking about it, I'm like actually searching if I can at least find one picture of those limestones and all, if I can share it. But something went wrong, some glitch at my end, and my pictures were just not getting shared. So sorry for that, but it was amazing. And the food in Vietnam, yes, banh mi and everything. I'm like, oh God, I want to go back to Vietnam. I've been to that place, gone to those lovely locations. It's a really big story, but so crisply and nicely you had put it. Very wonderfully presented. Isha, what to say? A solo traveler story. I would love to hear it much more in detail. Because being a girl, I've always longed to go on a solo trip. I've never done it yet. Maybe now, this new decade, as you say, midlife, it's actually the midlife for me now. It's like 50 plus age group. So this year onwards, yes, Meera, listening to you all, I think probably I might just go on one solo trip. My daughter has done hers already. I'm like really inspired by all of you again now, and hopefully we'll do it someday. Neeti ma'am, what to say? Wonderfully executed, wonderfully taken care of. A wonderful show. Indeed.
Thank you for the opportunity, and always with you.
I know. You have been such a big pillar of strength for you.
It's been a pleasure. और हिंदी में हमने कुछ
चंद workshop, you're always there, and so much of knowledge you have, and the way you handhold and the way you like guide. Thank you so much once again. And I take this opportunity to call all of you to be there on the 100th episode. It's an invite to each and every member of UBI. All of us will be there celebrating it as a mega get together, chit chat, talk, and share, and plus listen to a few special guests that day. But be there if you can, whatever time you have in hand. It's on Saturday afternoon, 2:30 India time. So I think, Neeti ma'am, I think we're already running late, as you said.
Absolutely.
Amazing show today.
Thank
and I
you
think
so much.
This is the first Safarnama. We have to come back with more such stories. Maybe we can have like, more time given to one particular place so that the person can do justice with that. This is all, first experience for us also. So I just felt that probably the time was a little short. Sorry for that. But yeah, next time we'll make sure that we give you more time, more, so that you can explain it much more better. Wonderful. Thank you so much, each one of you.
Thank you, wonderful people. See you again. God bless each of us, and successful journey ahead.
From the live session. Bye-bye, everybody. For the live audience, thank you so much for being there. I can see the messages. I can see the comments. If you have any questions, any thoughts, any suggestions, feel free to write there. Share it with